I'm addicted to the good life. Yeah, lead the way. I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find a better one. Yeah, susceptible now before the moment flies. Ooh, so tell your good night, 'cause I'll find a better one. Ooh, susceptible now before the moment flies. It's not a problem, no, 'cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah, and nothing can stop me, no, 'cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find a better one. Yeah, susceptible now before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find a better one. Susceptible now before the moment flies.
What is going on, Locked In Nation? What is going on? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, episode 75. We're 3/4 of a way from 100. And as you guys probably saw in promotions this week, we are talking about a few different things on the spectrum tonight. We're going to be talking about how to motivate yourself to do the difficult tasks you might face in your daily life. Obviously, it's a little bit easier to do the more mundane tasks, but the ones that require more mental energy or more physical energy can be very, very daunting. They can be very challenging. It honestly kind of ties motivation into discipline. We'll talk about that. We're also going to be talking about how to conquer, on a very basic level, insecurity within yourself. We'll break down the three different types of insecurity, and we'll wrap it up with kind of talking about how to hold a strong, confident, mature frame as well. And that kind of goes hand in hand with conquering your insecurity. So as always, I'm your host for the evening, Steve Ushler. My co-host, George Menshai, will be with us shortly. He is running late tonight, but didn't want to take too much time to go live here. So just wanted to kind of get the ball rolling, and he can join us when he gets here. Guys, I'm going to play our intro, and then on the other side, we will hop into it, and then George can join us when we can. So guys, sit tight, sit back, relax. I'll see you on the other side.
Don't look down, just keep your head or you'll be finished.
All right, guys, what's up? As I said, welcome back to the Lock In Podcast, episode 75. Tonight's episode, multiple things on the spectrum. We're going to be talking about how to harness motivation on a daily basis to conquer the difficult tasks that are going to require you a lot of physical fatigue and mental fatigue. We're also going to talk about conquering insecurity within yourself on a very, very basic level. And we're also going to talk about how to hold a confident, mature, strong frame overall. And that kind of goes in hand in hand with the insecurity part of this. So, guys, before I even hop into it, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're liking what you see, smash the like button. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to turn notifications on, because as I always say, we do release content. We do release new episodes every single week, and you don't want to miss it. If you're watching on Facebook, smash the like button. If you're not already following us on Instagram at the_locked_in_podcast, you can actually find us right on the Linktree link below. Click that and follow us on Instagram. We're on Spotify. We're on multiple platforms. So, guys, be sure to follow us, and it helps the algorithm overall. So, we're kind of getting back into the personal development sector here over last week and this week. Guys, my co-host is going to be here in a second. I just spoke to him while we were doing the intro, so he'll be here shortly. But I am actually just going to kind of hop into it here. I do kind of want to start in order with the motivation side of things, and then we'll kind of work our way to insecurity. When George comes in, I'll get his perspective as well. But guys, comment down below. Love to hear your thoughts here and love to have a conversation. Bill, I already see that you're in here. So, Bill, I saw your comment down there. Yo. What's up, my guy? Appreciate the support, man. Thanks for commenting in. Appreciate you, man. So, guys, we're just going to get started here. So, on a very basic level, I kind of just want to describe what you probably already know. I would say the term of motivation to be. So motivation, what it ultimately is in a very, very basic sense, is it's a mental push for you to accomplish an action. I always do say, at least from my personal experience, motivation, I do believe in it. However, I don't think you should solely try to rely on motivation. However, we are going to break down things that you can do to motivate yourself regularly. I would say don't get motivation confused with discipline, which is the energy to harness consistent actions on a daily basis, which means through the difficult times, discipline is what comes on the rainy days, when the weather's shitty, when you're mentally fatigued and you really don't want to do something. Discipline kind of comes when motivation is not there to push you through it. But motivation, like I said, it's a mental push. It's a mental jolt. It's a mental energy to push for you to accomplish an action. And people have many motives to do many different things. But there are things you can do to try to keep yourself motivated regularly. Some of the obvious ones, I would say, guys, is you can listen to very, very motivational music, whatever triggers you and puts you in a good mood, whether it's, different types of genres of music, whatever it is. You might have different songs and different music that you can listen to that can really motivate you, for sure. So see somebody commented in here. It says set minor and major goals. Make sure to follow the path, but most importantly, never give up. Yeah, I think that's obviously very, very important. I kind of want to just figure out. I want to always see whose name it is, so I can always give people credit for commenting in as well. So let me just check real quick. All right, it's Todd right there. So I see Todd commented in. He said, "Yes, set major and minor goals. Very, very important there. Major goals are very important, but minor goals are as well. And I ultimately would like to say, when it comes to accomplishing your goals, one of the biggest things you can do is you need to literally write. Although major and minor goals obviously are very important, have a roadmap of how to get there. So what daily tasks can you do to accomplish those goals? If we just have something on a whiteboard, like this year I want to make $1 million, and there's no actionable steps that you're taking daily to do it, it's going to be very difficult to get there. It's going to be very difficult to stay motivated. And one of the biggest things, and I know you'll hear a lot of people, if you watch personal development content or you watch YouTube videos on it, one of the things I will tell you is you need to understand what your why is. That's 100%. Like if you want to lose weight, if you want to build muscle in the gym, you need to understand what the reason is. Maybe you want to look good for your own personal self-esteem. You're like, okay, when I look good, I feel good. Maybe you're honestly trying to impress people. I really don't think that maybe that is your why. Maybe you just want to look good in the summer, whatever the case may be. You might not want to put external circumstances to your why because that could be taken away or you can't control what other people think. But always internally, like whatever your why is, you need to have it. If you want to make more money, understand why do you want to make more money. So maybe you want to just be financially free. Maybe you want to buy a house. Maybe you want to buy a car that you wanted. Maybe you want to invest in real estate. Maybe you want to start a family and you want to be financially stable. I see George is here. Let me add him in real quick. What's up, George? Oop. Yeah, I don't know. What's up, man?
Good, bro. Chilling.
What's up? All right, guys, you can welcome George back on. So we've been on a little over 10 minutes. Basically, I played the intros. I kind of introduced us coming in, and I'm talking about motivation and discipline. We're just kind of talking about what you need to, how you can motivate yourself on a daily basis to ultimately achieve your goals. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, man. Before I go back to what I was saying, man, how are you doing tonight, man?
Chilling, bro. Finally, back in here, back in the room. Had a little issues coming in, but I am now. Here I am. So, started a little afterwards. But it's been a good day, though, for the most part. Just kind of busy. Like I said, was a little tired earlier. But it's a nice topic that we're covering tonight. So, I'm excited and shit like that, So, it's kind of like talk about. I see that some people already joined and definitely got some views. Somebody hit us up as well. So, man.
So basically, this was Todd down below. Todd had commented setting major and minor goals and making sure to follow the path, but most importantly, never giving up. Never giving up. I mean, that's more of the more easier said than done aspect of it. That's why discipline is so critical. Finding ways to motivate yourself on a daily basis can be very important. So as I was saying, I just want to kind of go back to the motivating factors. I said you could listen to good music. You could listen to, if you have a guru you follow, or you have certain people that are motivational speakers that you can listen to that could really pump you up. You could try to listen to them on a daily basis as well. I know we've talked about it here. One of the things that I can tell you that pumps me up is listening to a speech by David Goggins. I'll tell you what, like that pumps me fucking up. This morning, I'm going to be honest, like I really did not want to hit my workout when it was like the sun wasn't even up. And I listened to some of that. I didn't listen to it before I left the house, but when I got there, I kind of listened to it. And it gave me goosebumps, man. Like I was like, holy shit. And I'll tell you what, man, it carried me throughout. Like I was like, damn. Like you can hear certain people just like their perspective and it kind of changes. You're like, damn, why was I even overthinking this? It kind of just pushes you to that next level. I did tell people, George, before we even kind of hopped into this, that I don't think you should solely try to rely on motivation because I always do say that motivation does fluctuate. It comes and it goes. Discipline is what's going to carry you through the cloudy days. The days when you're not motivated to do shit, the days when you're mentally fatigued, that is what discipline is going to carry you throughout. It's easy for people to say, I'm going to stay disciplined. But when them dark days come, that's when you're going to be tested. That's when you're going to be challenged. That's when you're going to have to say, nobody's going to do this shit for me. I need to know what my why is, and I need to go after what the fuck I want. Realistic.
Yes, I could agree with that, bro. It's you gotta have the right mindset for it, and you just gotta have like the discipline and the extra drive to do it the days you can do it, and also stick by your routines. You know what I mean? But I mean, motivation is a little like kind of like here and there sometimes, but it's obviously it's good to be motivated, but it's what inspires you to kind of drive you to to motivation. You know what I mean? Like the days that you can't really find that, you just find a reason. And and I always say this, and you heard me say this before, that sometimes you just can't, get up to do it, but you do it anyway. And then guess what happens? You meet some OG at the gym on the way out, and you're just kicking it, and that shit chills as fuck. Where it's like a nice little conversation, and you talk to these guys. These guys are probably in good shape and all that. You know what I mean? He's like, guys, good situation. He's building on. He's like, yeah, guys my age don't, they don't, they don't really do it anymore. They're letting themselves go and all that. I just can't do it. Yeah, there's guys that do that, bro. They come there a lot, And then when you see them and you're like, yo, I'm young, so there's no excuse. I should be here. You know what I mean? More often. And some days, yeah, you might miss a day or two at the gym or on your workout or your routine, but it's good to not to miss days and to stay consistent.
Exactly. No, I like that. That's actually a nice perspective right there, man.
Mhm.
Realistically, yeah, no, that's actually really good. What are the other things? I wonder if you could relate to this. This is one of the other things I was going to say. This isn't necessarily motivating, but it's something to keep in your mental inventory regularly. So just think if you're gonna go out and you're gonna set out to accomplish something, and think of the regret that you're gonna have if you don't go out and take this task today. Be like, okay, I want to I want to make more money. And if I don't talk to these 5 to 10 people today and keep trying to build my client base, say you have a business, if I don't talk to these people today, this is one more day of people that I don't talk to. And this can be honestly a constant cycle where like I'm not reaching out to people. I'm not taking the action that I can. So you have a very difficult task. You're like, okay, if I don't work on this today, this is going to build up to the end of the week, and then I'm going to be screwed when the deadline comes. You got to think that there's two different types of pain in life. There's the pain of taking this short-term action today. They're like, I don't want to do it. I could relax. I could order a pizza. I could put the TV on and freaking chill. So I don't want to take this action today. Or I can live with the long-term regret. And I think regret is much more painful than the short-term pain. And I know that like, sometimes we want to take it easy, but the long-term pain that you're going to feel from not taking that action is going to be a lot greater um, than if you the short term pain you're gonna feel today. Can
Yeah,
you kind of relate to that?
I could excuse me, I could agree with that. I was just want to say, man, sometimes, bro, you got to go through the struggle to experience you know, the fruits of your labor and the joy. And with great sacrifice comes great reward. So I think a lot of people can relate to that, and that's what it comes down to, man. I mean, you just got to take the steps to build up your future, your credit, your finances, your life, your uh, sort of like be on point, like your job, what I mean, force, like your work game, like you're working somewhere good, your opportunities, the horizon, and then you build a small empire from there. It's a lot of young guys start, so some get into entrepreneurships, some just kind of like go back to school or learn or teach others, and like I said, I mean, it's good to start now, bro. Like at 32, 33, 34, or even from like as young as like late 28s, which is you're probably not at college for a few years at that point. It's good to start think about invest in the future now. Just go by what the system wants you to do, and just kind of like what like society says and thinks, and all these other opinions, and all work until like you're 45 to you're 50 or even 55, 56, and then you're like, okay, well, I gotta do something for myself, You're gonna need that motivation. Part of it, stay healthy, bro. Right? Have you noticed that, Steve? Every guy that we know probably that does some motivational stuff, who's an entrepreneur, who's a big time corporate guy, or whatever, like from Elon Musk the world to like Robert Greene to like what I mean, like David Goggins and so forth. But everybody, if you think about it, they're all great men of of entrepreneurship skills, of mindsets, of power, and what they do, bro, they all go to the gym and they work out, like most of them daily. They're all in good shape. I mean, you might see a fat guy here and there, but even though they get it in too, but I'm just saying, like a lot of these guys are always like about the gym life, Think about it. All the motivational guys. I mean everybody, right?
Yeah, and
Like
I
all
mean
these
yeah, and even if they don't work out, some of
they're
the
still
health
pretty
like
fit.
they fuel their body correctly because your brain energy and your mental energy, you need to fuel your body correctly. When you eat crappy foods and shit, and like we all have, but like when you do, you feel more sluggish. When you fuel your body properly and you fuel your body correctly, you're able to think more coherently, and you're able to kind of you're honestly able to be your best self. You're able to, give yourself enough energy to be able to take the action that you know you need to take. And I see that Bill comment down below, and this is actually this was something I actually wanted to talk about.
You got a
Bill
comment.
said Bill said, I found that on
Yeah,
the
I see
days
it.
that I don't feel like doing shit, the best things tend to happen when I go and take that action. 100% agreed. It's the days when you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. But then at the end of the day, when you're laying in bed and you realize you still went and did it, you start to realize what you're realistically capable of and what you're honestly what your mind is capable of. When you're tackling like all these different tasks in a certain day, and then you realize like you got all of it done, you're like, wow, you were doubting yourself from the beginning, but you carried through and you were
Right.
able to actually do it. It's honestly amazing what our minds and what our bodies are able to do realistically.
The mind is a
I,
powerful tool, and so is the body. But you need like the mind and the body and the spirit to do it. You need the time, the right emotions, bro. If you do what you got to do, just kind of stay consistent, and try to like build for that and find happiness within.
wow. Wow, that's actually 100%. That's actually really deep. I believe this is Todd commenting in here, and he said the reason God wakes you up in the morning is because that He still has something for you. He still has a purpose for you. Something I remind myself every day. Wow, that's actually really really deep, man.
Respect that, man. I
So
like
God
that.
has a purpose for you. That you know your life's not over. You're not
Yeah,
dying today. You got a whole purpose. There's a reason you were put on this earth. 100%. That's actually a really really great point. One of the things
so
I kind of wanted to go back on the motivation side of it
yeah,
is one of the ways you can motivate yourself. And I heard this from somebody I followed a while ago on a podcast. He says, give yourself a punishment or consequences to hold yourself accountable, right? To take action and hold yourself accountable. So somebody I was listening to on a podcast, this was years ago, and I also heard this in an audiobook. Two different types of slip ups they had. The one guy, so this is actually it's kind of funny, but this is really a serious addiction. Um, he was constantly watching porn, right?
right.
Constantly, and he made a pact that if he slipped up, he had to pay his friends, like a friend, $100, like to hold him accountable. Like now he could bullshit and lie and say he never did slip up, but he made a pact that he was going, if he slipped up, he had to give that person $100. Like that kind of made him like not like slip up, or like if he overindulged in watching it, even if he like whatever the case may be, like it could be any addiction, it could be smoking, it could be drinking. Have a consequence, give yourself a punishment, because competitors overtake you if you're not like working. If you're not working right now, promise
Wow.
yourself you're not going to go. Promise you're not going to. It's like, say you have a reward. Say you want to go play basketball, or say you want to go out with your friends, but you didn't accomplish this one task. You slipped up and you
Right.
procrastinated. Punish yourself. Be like, okay, well now I can't do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like give yourself punishments and hold yourself accountable. If you keep yourself accountable, it's gonna make you think twice next time you try to. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Accountability is good because I mean it makes you kind of like work harder to get what you got to get, and it makes you like learn, and you realize that you're a human and you make mistakes, but at the same time you realize you recognize mistakes to better them. So it goes both ways in in everyday life, on work, on entrepreneurship type of things, and like when it comes to like building something up and trying to keep your team strong, you got to take responsibility for a lot of things. So it comes kind of with it a little bit. You also got to learn, and you got to humble yourself and learn from as much people as you can. So
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed, man.
Now, what about what are some things, bro, and some steps you take maybe to like carry on your tasks and your plans to stay sharp, in the game, so to keep your mind, focused. Because sometimes the balance it gets, it's hard sometimes. You got to make more, amends, and there's a lot of things to do. Oh, what the fuck was this? Something,
Well,
something
just
started
like I was,
loading. Something on the
well,
website.
just like I was saying, to remember what your why, remember what your why is. I think it might be more simple said that it might be easier said than done, but just remember what your why is. You have to have a purpose behind the actions that you're taking. If you're just taking them, and honestly, if you hold it internally and it's for you, then it's going to be a stronger why. If you're doing it for external circumstances, like you want to do something to impress other people, it's going to be more difficult. Like you can do that, but it's going to be more difficult for you to stay disciplined in that because it's not really for you, it's for somebody else. And it's for some external validation. If it's for you, it's going to be more, that why is going to be more, um, it's going to be a stronger foundation. It's going to be easier to kind of hold on to that why. But that's what I would say. Remember what your why is. Honestly, take the steps that you're going to take tomorrow and think of like whatever you're doing tomorrow, what is the purpose and what is the intent behind it? What is the short-term goal that you want and what is the long-term goal that you want? If you're going to work out tomorrow, why do you want to work out? You want to work out because you want to live healthy, you want to live a healthy lifestyle, you want to be in your best, have the tip-top energy that you can possibly have. If you want to if you're going to go to work tomorrow, are you just going to work because you like your job or you like what you do? Do you have like
Right, right.
do you have a reason behind what, or is it just a paycheck to you? And if you are working and you're not at the level you want to be, learn. Say you're going into work tomorrow and you're like, okay, I want to get a promotion. Well, what are you learning from the people around you? Are you really asking the people that are a level above you, like what they did to get there? what tasks do they do on a regular basis. Always be trying to move up. Like if you're trying to get a promotion and you're just like, I'm going to go to work and I'm just going to I'm going to work, but I'm not going to do anything to stand out, or I'm not going to try to learn what the people above me do, then like what, a promotion's not just going to come.
Exactly. Like, what's the purpose behind what you're trying to kind of like go for? And do you have a long-term goal or a short-term goal, or you know what I mean? Like, is there kind of growth? And that's everybody thinks in everything. What is in everything in everyday life, not just like again in a job or in a company, but just in general. Like, there's always. But I find out that in life, bro, as you go, there's always things that come up and opportunities arise, and there's new careers, new things to learn, new places to go, people to meet, networking. You know what I mean? More things to do and something like this is like bullshit, bro. Tough shit. I mean, it's like no BS. I mean, you meeting like out there, you work in a nice place, with millionaires and all, meeting plugs and all, there's politicians to come, teachers, guys that do finance, like like even you, for example, where you work, you meet people in all walks of life, so it helps you connect as well with the broader World Wide Web audience. But you might do it face to face because you work with them.
Yeah. I mean, it happens for all different walks of life. It could be from your career, your personal stuff. Say you're single. Say you want to have kids one day. You want to start dating more intently. Then what are you doing to change it? Are you going out? Are you going on dates? Are you actually trying to change your life? Or are you just waiting for things to come to you? It's not gonna. You know what I mean? It's not gonna come to you.
It's not gonna come to you. That's for sure.
I want to drive a new car. Okay, well, what are you doing to make the money to drive that new car? Like what? In this day and age, there's so many side hustles that you can possibly have. It's just like, well, you're not working, somebody else is out working, and they're putting in the work that you're not, and nobody's going to do it for you. Say you want to get a house. Are you really living frugal enough, or do you want to go to the clubs every single night and spend money? I mean, it is what it. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it is what it is because it's so cliche, but honestly, nobody's going to do it for you. At the end of the day, it's a harsh reality. Nobody's going to do it for you. You need to be able to, remember what your why is. Yeah. Because here's the thing, David Goggins said it. David Goggins once said it. There's a whole bunch of darkness, pain, suffering, darkness, and then he's like, and then on the other side, then on the other side, there's a whole bunch of light. So you gotta realize that it might take a little bit of time, but on the other side, there's a whole bunch of light. So you have to just keep that in the back of your mind and always keep that kind of with you. I don't want to take this action today because it's darkness, but it's like if I do this today down the line, that light's going to be there.
I feel you, bro, 100%, and that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be painful days and days of like rainy days. Like today's a rainy day, right? You might not feel motivated. That's what discipline and everything needs to kick in. Like you gotta, go for it. You know what I mean? Like days that you can't really go to the gym. Like today I had a long day, but I made it through though. Like you can still accomplish a lot on rainy days. You feel me?
100%. I also wanted to talk.
What else we got here? Yeah.
So I mean, that was motivation. I mean, we're about 30 minutes in, so I kind of, guys, if you have anything else on motivation, we'll go back to it. But drop your comments. I kind of want to shift with motivation, and I want to shift to the other side. I said we have a couple things on the spectrum tonight. I want to shift to conquering insecurity within yourself on a very, very basic level. Me and George, we're not doctors, we're not psychologists, we're not certified in any way. This is just based off of our experiences and the notes that I've taken and people I've talked to behind the scenes. So what I would say is, why don't we shift to that topic? I'm not sure if you want to start this, man.
Let's shift in the direction, man. What else we got here? We got some notes for right now. But
so insecurity.
Let's see, bro.
Conquering insecurity. Do you have any ideas on that? Like, I mean, I can honestly say like the three types of insecurity that I think are most important to kind of conquer are personal insecurity, career, like professional insecurity, and then I would say relationship insecurity, whether it be with friends or with relationships, regular relationships. Yeah,
very good points, bro. Yeah, I agree. Definitely three things you gotta kind of conquer as you go. And there's really no right or wrong, three of them, because you can have different jobs and leave or whatever the case may be and come back. And you might also, you could lose a job or two and still, like come on top and get something that's probably a better fit for you and a good job that, sets you up. It's all point is to grow from there and learn as much as you can and find the ultimate place you want to be in. People always change jobs and careers. I mean, relationships too. Sometimes, you're with one person, you might not work out, you might know somebody else. You're never really too late. I mean, but you don't want to waste your time neither in your years in your life. When you're young, I heard this actually from the coach Red Pill a while ago. He was talking about a couple things. He's saying that time-consuming shows and all this other extra shit would do BS and all that. It's basically like kind of like you're just like wasting time with stuff that's not really going to benefit you in life. I mean, sure, you can watch a show and have some free time and you can learn from some shows and all TV stuff, but if you're going to engage something, don't be a fan. Be a guy that does it. And he said that like when you're young, you think you have oceans and oceans of decades of time, and you really don't. It's like in your early late teens, early 20s, up to your 30s. Once you hit your mid 30s, you realize that time is not really as vast as you think about it if you don't really invest it right. It's just like a thing with age. You understand it more when you're older. He said it was really kind of cool, man. He was explaining that, and it kind of goes back with dating too, because he's talking about how guys that waste their lives and waste their time. He's like, I remember watching Mike Tyson in the 80s. He was a man, 80s and early 90s, and baddest man alive and all that. He's just the baddest period. Like all guys want to be like him or be him. Women liked him. Animals want to hang out with him, like pigeons and shit like that. And so he said that basically, like people like got in his corner, and the best people in his circle got him and drained him his energy, and he lost a lot of things because of that. Also chasing the wrong women, getting caught up in that kind of lifestyle, having a lot of parties, a lot of fun. It's cool and all that, but he can ruin you. He ruin his money, his reputation. I mean, he had bad people around him. Don King fucked him over. So he talked about that a little, and it goes to show you that, like, you got to really, kind of like pay attention to the circle in life before they hurt you, and you always got to have a solid circle if you want to really make it up and try to become like a live the abundant man style, be up, above everything, kind of like start your own career, your own business.
Yeah, I would say so. That's actually a good point. I just kind of want to tie that into the insecurity side of it. Like the longer you wait and you're not taking action, you're having a lot of fun, which is good, but if you put things off too long, George, I think you could honestly probably agree that insecurity will creep in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, bro. I think so too. Because
the older you get, right? We start to feel more
waiting too much.
Time goes on.
You need to really make action, bro. You got to take advantage of time. I kind of see it now. When I was younger, like in my early mid 20s, up to about close to the late 20s. But then I understand a little more this concept that like you shouldn't just kind of wait for things. Let it just wait for like days and weeks. No, go get it like now or tomorrow at least. But like don't drag it out and wait long because you never. And planning things out too much sometimes never works. You got to plan efficiently, like me and you have talked about in the past. So that's just what it comes down to too. That's one of the main things of what I see people like mistakes. Even myself, like I said, I'm still learning as I'm going. I mean, and that's the thing, bro. You can be older too and learn. You don't have to be the youngest guy to be the sharpest knife, or and understand these things. Like you just gotta have them on your own, learn. But definitely you can learn from like younger guys, like Yumbos. Sometimes be having game, they be teaching you, they be saying stuff. It's true. Older guys too. Me and this one guy from my job, we're talking about it, and it's like right place, right time, bro. There's moves to be made and career moves and money to be made and things to learn, bro. I mean, everything. Even Skillshare, like we're talking about a few episodes ago, and we mentioned in the past, like it's good to have something like that because you learn something like this little skill, and now you can apply it. It gives you another avenue, another like lane somewhere in life where you can learn something and get into like making logos or banners or like graphic design and such things like that. Like because I mean, it teaches you a lot, more than your average computer program that just shows you like A, B, C, D, just basic shit. So yeah, I mean, got to learn from stuff like that too, and it helps you in the long run. Because I mean, like look at us for example, like we're getting the stuff ready, the rash guards, the shirts, the hoodies, and all that. So we're trying to send stuff up online now. We're trying to set up this thing, the shop, the one that Dan was talking about. I was talking about it actually, and I think I mentioned to you eventually, man. Like we'll talk about the other things too, but imagine getting like Locked In Podcast shirts. Remember I was telling you about that? Like they'll be kind of dope. Like we gotta like get some more memorabilia.
Yeah,
but that's because again I got the plug for it too, and I know you know some people too. So
yeah, we actually have a merchandise store running the website.
Yeah, we do got a merchandise store. We just don't post as much as we probably should. But yeah, we got a little. We're growing our store a little bit, little by little, and definitely more business to be done, bro.
You guys can actually find a link to that right on our personal website. It's in the link tree and the link down below on this link. You can go right to our website. We actually have a tab where you can actually access our website. We have different things. I think t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, phone cases, masks, a bunch of different stuff on there. So guys, it has our logo printed on it. And if you actually want a custom logo, so we have the one with the red, you see with the suit and tie, and then but if you ever want like the one with the I think I do have some ones for like the other logo too, the red, white, and blue.
Red, blue, yeah.
I think I do. But if you guys want anything custom, we can always have them made.
The red, black, and gray.
So if you ever have recommendations, guys, feel free to check it out. And
feel free to check out all the stores. And I mean, we're going to be promoting on IG too. Actually, we got to start taking some more pictures of it. But
we'll be doing a giveaway. We'll be doing a giveaway again soon too.
Yeah.
Personal. So, guys, I do want to walk through the different types of insecurity, at least that I've encountered inside my life. Three of them, like I said, we'll start with personal insecurity. So, personal insecurity is basically, insecurities with how you look, how you sound, how others perceive you. Ultimately, there's surface level insecurities. They can seem superficial to someone observing from the outside, worrying about your hair, your clothing, your skin, whatever the case may be, like how you
Right.
dress, how you act, your mannerisms. They can be deeply felt by the individual who's feeling them, and it can cause them a lot of distress. Personal insecurities, they can prevent us from pursuing relationships because we don't think we look good enough, or we don't think we are good enough internally. They can honestly hold us back from career opportunities. Think we don't deserve to make a certain level of income, like
Right.
social connections. If we let them, they can stem. They ultimately,
They can make you feel like you're not really what you should be. They definitely make you feel down. They feel like you could lose because, right, you could lose friendships, job opportunities, you know what I mean? Time, sleep, even, people are like, oh, I'm not good enough to do this and that. I mean, yeah, people to put too much limitations on themselves. I think you can definitely agree that insecurities and limitations like that go kind of hand in hand, unfortunately.
100%. And what I would say is with um with that, like ultimately, what insecurity mainly stems from is lack of self confidence. I mean, there's no other realistic way to understand. Like, there is some area of your life where you're lacking self confidence, depending on where your insecurities are, and it's
Right.
mainly usually it stems from because of the fact, especially with personal insecurities, that you really, really care too much what other people think about you. At the end of the day, I've associated with people who, I might be out somewhere with that person, and they think that people are really, really judging them, when in reality, that those people, some people might be like, people do judge, but the majority of the time it's overthinking. You realistically think that people are judging you, but a lot of the times they're not even noticing you're there. So it's like, it's a lot of times it's a lot of overthinking. But honestly, it all stems from the fact that, especially with personal insecurity, is that we care too much about what other people think. At the end of the day, if it's not somebody, I always like to say this, if it's not somebody whose opinion you care about, or somebody you respect, then what realistically does it matter what they care, what they think
Right.
about you? Somebody, yeah, if it's not somebody you respect or care about anyway, then why does it matter what they think? Even if they are judging you, majority of the time, if it's just people in public, they're probably not judging you. It's a lot of overthinking. Even if
Right.
they
Right.
are, who
It's
cares?
just
I know
one
it's
of those
easier
things.
said than done, but it's a lot of times. We talk about this all the time. We actually did a whole episode on this back in the spring of last year. And I know sometimes we bash social media a lot. Social media is a very, very great platform. I use social media all the time for a lot of different things, but there's a lot of negative consequences that come with it. Personal insecurity, a lot of times now, it's 2022, with the rise of social media in the last 15 years. Now we had things that started out, what was it, Xanga, then to MySpace, now Facebook, Instagram, now it's TikTok. You got TikTok, Snapchat, all these different platforms where we're seeking validation from other external factors, from other people. The whole
The
thing
thing
about it is,
is
it leads
validation.
you to compare yourself to other people. A lot of times, the content that people post is because they're trying to get a reaction out of a certain group of people. You realize that you're not even posting it for yourself. It's mainly because you're trying to impress a certain group of people, or maybe a certain person. So you post certain content, we start to compare ourselves to other people. It's become worse and worse because of that, and I do blame partially social media for it, but I do realize that social media obviously can be a great platform as well. It's good, social media is a great platform to do a lot of great things.
It definitely is, but
Market your brand, market yourself. Um, but there are insecurities, and what social media can do is it can enhance insecurities and lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms, like things have even led to, this is on the really, really crazy spectrum of it, but it's not as crazy as you would think, because when you know people that have done it, you start to realize it's more common. People have led to like things like eating disorders, self-harming themselves, and that's when it becomes very, very dangerous. um so insecurity is a big thing, and it plagues tons of people. Everybody at some point in their life has dealt with insecurity.
oh
I
yeah.
don't care how confident you are. I don't care. I really don't. Yeah, I
It
don't care
doesn't
how
matter where you live. I mean, yeah, where we come from.
confident.
Everybody has had it, at some point.
So guys, like, we're gonna talk about how to kind of conquer them in a second, but I do want to break down. I'm gonna run real quick through my notes for the other two insecurities real quick. So there's professional insecurity and relationship insecurity on top of personal insecurity. Professional insecurity, all of what it is professional insecurities. They can happen at our workplaces. They make people feel anxious, self-conscious. For example, maybe you don't think you're a great communicator, so you're nervous in the workplace to give a strong presentation. These insecurities, they can fill people with self-doubt and cause them to believe that they aren't good enough for promotions, making more income, right? Taking risks, taking a higher salary. People don't think that they're worth all that responsibility and all that money that the company might be willing to pay them, even though that they are actually really, really good employees. It leads people to experience imposter syndrome. You might get a role, say you work in a very entry level role, and then you get promoted to like a divisional or like a senior vice president or something.
Yeah.
And there's this thing called imposter syndrome where like you're making the money, you're in the role, but you don't feel like you should be there. And guess what? If you actually deal with imposter syndrome, it can actually lead you to self-sabotage, so you don't actually do your job effectively. And then guess what happens? You lose that job because of that. So there's a thing called imposter syndrome, and you miss out on achieving your goals because of it. So I do want to walk through the last one here, in this relationship insecurity. Relationship insecurities, they're very common, and they can occur in any relationship. They make you feel like you don't deserve the person you're with.
Yeah.
I've been with people that felt this, and a lot of times, and then on top of it, it happens usually from trust issues. They believe that you should be with somebody who will make you happier. They're like, I don't deserve you. These insecurities, they can lead to jealousy, arguments, dominating behavior ultimately. And relationship insecurities, they can be caused by past experiences. It's usually trust issue partners. Maybe somebody was in a relationship that was abusive. Maybe it was toxic, where they got cheated on. Whatever the case may be, it could be. It could even stem from childhood. Maybe they had a neglectful mother or father that led them to feel this way, that maybe they weren't there for them, and they honestly felt like they're not good enough for somebody. This happens a lot. It's usually caused by trauma. And insecurities, there's a lot of consequences from them. But honestly, there's honestly a lot of ways you can overcome insecurities just on a very basic level. I'm going to start with one here, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I would say confronting. This is probably number one. Confront your feelings. Don't avoid them. Don't bottle them up. Confront them. And as men, what are you taught at like an early age, right? To like, there's a lot of contradicting like theories out there to think that men should bottle everything up. You said, while I do believe you need to stay strong as a man, you definitely need to be strong as a man. You shouldn't be weak. Acknowledge your emotions and acknowledge your feelings, rather than avoiding them. Whether it's talking with a close friend of yours, whatever the case may be, acknowledge your feelings. You agree with that?
I think that you're right, but I think you should acknowledge, accept, try to change, fight not necessarily fight it like in the wrong way. I mean, fight like the kind of like the temptation, and fight like all the stuff that maybe like even like scares you, or sort of like pushes you and gives you doubt and gives you insecurities. Try sort of prevent them. You know what I mean? And better yourself. Also, like you said, confront them. Be honest with yourself. Look at the men in the mirror, which will be the men in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You. And just try to see where you're going with it. And if you feel like you gotta make improvements and all that, that's that's fine too. But I mean, we're all human at the end of the day. But just at the same time, don't doubt yourself so much, and don't care about what people think too much, because you got to prove it with action. And it's tough sometimes. I mean, because if you feel like you can't do it and you get too nervous, that's when you feel like, oh, the doubters are right, and I'm letting people talk. I'm giving them a reason to talk more and to prove that they're right. So it's like actions speak louder than words. But at the end of the day, bro, sometimes it's good to stay out the spotlight, and it's a lot of hate your way. A lot of people on social media want to see what you're doing and spy on you, and there's other shit that we have discussed. So yeah, I can agree with that, and I feel like that's another good point there. Yeah. What else we got there? Anything? One of those other points that you were making?
Yeah. So another point I have is to let go of people and situations that fuel your insecurities, whatever the case may be. If you're in a relationship, or you're in a friend, you have a friend who is constantly tearing you down, it's abusive, it's toxic. I know it's easier said than done, because you build a certain type of foundation with this person, but if they are bringing you nothing but insecurity inside your own life, you need to remove them. It's plain and simple. It's a judgment call. You got to remove them from your life. It's plain and simple. If they're not adding value, they're not helping to build you up, you got to get rid of them if they're creating that insecurity within you. I think you could probably agree with that.
Yeah, I've seen that as well, and
We've been there,
agree with
right?
it, bro. Kind of agree with that. It's just unfortunate. Some people just don't want to change, and they're more prone to bring you down. So it's like you can still keep it cordial with them from far, but just kind of let them do them, and you just remove them. And some people you just cut off completely. I mean, it's always, always somebody's getting cut off. It's just what happens, so to speak.
I would say if they're really bringing out insecurity in your life, I wouldn't even keep them afar. I'd just remove them. Wish them the best, no ill will.
Yeah,
But if they're causing you serious insecurity inside your life,
you see them, but yeah, some people just gotta stay away, bro, because just you don't want things to be very right. I feel you. If it's that bad, like energy and insecurities coming along and out, it's like you're once anybody kind of brings you any kind of insecurity with yourself, you already know that's fucked up, and that person needs to be removed. So
100%.
yeah, I've been there. This is a whole topic in its own, bro. I have so many friends that have done shit like that, bro. That I found out like okay, so it's like you have to remove them, but sometimes you just you're still cool with them, but you're not really cool with them no more. Like when you see them, it's like all good and all, but you keep them pushing, and you just you know it's called keeping it on reach, or not even that, but just kind of like you don't really associate with some people no more, but yeah, might still be on speaking terms, like when you see him and you still know ill will, but like you said, wish him the best. And some people you just don't see and they just disappear from your life in a way. You go your way, they go their way. I've seen that happen too. And like I said, I had friends of that as well in the past, like here and there growing up. But people in general, I heard about stories, I've seen things, I've experienced it. I've noticed that about other people too. And yeah, man, some people just, we just gotta stay away from like people that bring you down and negative, negative people and negative shit. So
100%. So what
yeah.
do you have any do you have any tips when it comes to conquering insecurities? You could choose any of the insecurities. It could be the personal level, it could be the career workplace level, or relationship level.
Um,
Any tips?
yeah, as far as like, well, let's just stick to this one right now. Like, as far as like friends and certain relatives, certain people like like your circle, associates. As far as that goes, if I feel like the person is not really helping, we just kind of mention that, just kind of like cut them off or keep away, and you learn from mistakes from that. It comes, so you kind of study that person. All right, we're supposed to be cool and all that, but he's such and such. Is I feel like he did me dirty, slimy, this and that, and you think that, and you just kind of take better precaution. You just got to judge it better, and then not be cool with him as much. You're distant and cold. Oh well, who the fuck cares? It's all about you at the end of the day. Nobody else. Fuck what people think and what other friends are saying, or people that act like they're friends but they're not. So there goes that. And as far as like relationships, it's like I always said, it's gotta like be between you and the person a little bit. You gotta be a little neutral with that. Like it can't be all about you or about her, but at the same time, if you can go to the next level and you gotta see what they bring you to it. You know what I mean? So
100%.
if
Don't
you don't feel like you see a relationship with her or or whatever the case may be, um you just, move on. And like I said, just don't waste time too much because time is too important these days. You got to set goals for yourself. And the person you're with should also understand your career and your goals and what you want to do in life. And you should understand theirs. And it should be a mutual feeling as well. Let's be clear on that. Let's not get it fucked up. Right? It's her fault or he's his fault or he's a sim or she's, doing that. People be like, oh, fuck that bitch. No, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on a second. Do you know that she's a bitch? You don't. Well, you cannot say that. That's actually a rule, bro. Reckless endangerment of the truth. You can't just assume somebody, like you can't be doing that, because you get sued for shit like that.
100%.
So
In
like
order for somebody to understand somebody else's goals and things like that,
you gotta have their back, their best
that
interest.
yeah, 100%. If they're ride or die, that all stems from effectively communicating. It's communication, right? Like that's the most critical thing with it is communicating effectively. So you need to be concise and clear with the way you communicate with the other person. Yeah, if somebody's not good for you, like it's just, you know what I mean? Sometimes people tend to try to stay with other people just because of the fact that they really, really are attracted to that person. But it's like, well, if they're not good for you, they're not good for you. You know what I mean? Like you can try to make something work as much as you want, but it's actually a good point.
It depends on the situation.
I love the. I'm not gonna lie, man. In my early 20s, I've been there. It just is what it is, dude. You gotta honestly realize that it's not for you. As you get older, you start to not tolerate what's not right for you. You come off more confidence, and we're actually gonna get into like the next portion shortly, which is actually one of my favorite parts of this episode because we never actually covered it. Covering literally harnessing on a daily basis a strong frame, both mentally and the way you project yourself. Very, very important. It's not talked about enough. But I do want to address this right down here. So it says, don't be afraid to fail. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Absolutely love that quote. Wayne Gretzky, Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant, who's actually, it's funny. I always keep this on my screen. So my office is right where I'm at right now. where I live, my office that I work in, and I've kept this for 2 years on my screen since Kobe passed. I have an image of Kobe, and George, I know you've seen it when you've been in my room, my office. You've seen it when you've come over. I got Kobe on the screensaver in the back, and it shows Kobe turned to the crowd with his hands on his hips, and it says, "Everything negative, pressure, challenges is all an opportunity for me to rise." So that's actually a great quote, and I, it's Kobe Bryant. Oh, you were muted for a second there, I think.
Yeah, my bad. Can you say it one more time? Can you mention it again? Because I heard it, but I was like, I missed. You said, what's the quote again? Like, so somebody maybe didn't hear it.
So the quote, I have it right here. It says, "Everything negative, pressure, challenges is all an opportunity for me to rise." So it says like everything, and then in the quote, not the quotations, in the parentheses, it says everything. Then parentheses, what he means by everything is negative, everything that's pressure, everything that's challenges. All of it is an opportunity for me to rise. It's actually great. Kobe has some great quotes.
Some amazing quotes from Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe, with the late Kobe Bryant, one of the best to ever do it. I was watching Kobe versus LeBron, some highlights of like them dribbling, and Kobe like did a little number on them. I don't know what season it was. He might have been, I want to say it was like around like maybe like 08, 09, around like 09, 2010, or 8, around the, that era. But it was amazing. So Kobe basically did what Kobe did. He did a little crossover, and just he shot that. Kobe made it. LeBron tried to block him, couldn't get him. But they showed him bracing after the game, and it was like, damn, they're like about the same height for the most part. LeBron might be a little taller, but not by much, very little, like small, very little, maybe like an inch or not even taller than Kobe. And I was like, that's respect right there, two of the greatest of all time. But like, this is like when LeBron was reaching his prime and Kobe using his prime towards the end of his prime, going kind of like, starting to not to decline, but I mean to get like a little older with age, so to speak. It was a good, actually a very good highlight. I think I got it somewhere. I got a video of it, so I'll probably show it to you or something. But it was pretty cool though. So you mentioned the Kobe thing, but no, I mean, see what I'm saying? Same thing. Kobe's basically saying that like challenges, pressures, whether it's insecurities, just things in life, things you face, problems. For me, for me to rise and to show how great I am, my greatness again in it could be in anything in life, just as long as like getting through your day, a hard day, and getting a lot done in the day, and just be smooth about it. Imagine it like this, right? You get out there, you go somewhere, you get everything you got to do, finish your work, get some money aside, get a come up, meet somebody important, have a brunch with somebody you need to talk to, meet up, catch up some family, hit the gym, have a date, chill, smoke on something, smoke a cigar or something, and you get everything done. And then, it's like 9 o'clock in the evening, and you still like, all the time, and then you just like chill, like you just finished everything. That's an important thing, it's like a really good accomplishing day. If you have days like this, bro, you'll reach more goals, I feel like,
100%. Your energy harnesses, your energy carries. So taking the appropriate actions, obviously important. Guys, I mean, we said we were going to touch insecurity. Obviously, a very, very basic level, because we have other things to talk about tonight, so we can only cover so much. If you guys want to hear more about either of the two things we just talked about more before we hop into the third portion here tonight, anything about harnessing, being able to conquer insecurity. If you want us to talk more about motivation, discipline, I feel like we've talked a lot about that on other episodes. But if you guys want like particular episodes for this, drop us a DM, drop us a comment, whatever you want to do. And we do listen to your guys' thoughts a lot of times, and we do cover topics that are highly requested. So the more people who request it, we can cover it. I do want to hop into this. This final portion here tonight. As we are about 55 minutes in right now, I do want to hop into this part, and this kind of goes with how you can conquer insecurity and hold a strong, confident, mature frame. George, I know you've probably seen a lot of articles and a lot of things on this. I know you've probably done some research on this, and then YouTube videos. Holding a strong, dominant frame, it comes from your body language, your mental energy, the way you project yourself to other people, and how confident you are. I know this is something that definitely resonates a little bit with you as well.
Yeah, and if I could just jump in for a second here, Steve.
Man.
Basically, like you said, like the way you move, the way you think, and then you try to express to others can have a lot of results, and it can get you in a lot of things, good and bad. I mean, sometimes it might mean in a good way, and it comes out weird because the energy was a little off, or you stumble some words, or you feel like there's something like somebody, you feel some way. Just be yourself, and it's all about present yourself a certain way. So presentability, how long you're always, how often or how long you're available for, whatever. who you talk to, how you present yourself, how you talk. I mean, a couple things. I mean, how smooth you are, I guess, but also the mannerism and like you said earlier, forget who judges you, but if you smooth these kind of things, there's ways that people look at you like, okay, oh, this guy, he carries himself well. It all comes down to carrying yourself well and having that kind of like kind of confidence and that kind of being like smooth and just being like moving right, and people they can dig it. People from all kinds of life.
Yeah. So
This side, all that good and bad side. Like just guys that know what you're talking about, guys that can relate to these things. Anybody. Sometimes, bro, you're the man when even haters relate to you, and you're the hater be like, "Oh, he got it," they'll give you props. I've seen haters give props before in the past, so that's when you're the man.
100%. I just want to briefly describe what a strong frame is.
Yeah,
Whether you're
whether
you're a male or you're a female, even as a female, confident. A lot of men feel they need to have a strong frame. But what I would say is, how I would describe a strong frame, if you're confident, is you can literally, people can tell your energy when you walk into a room. So how I would say is like, with confident energy, a lot of times you have your shoulders back, your head is up,
yeah,
not too exaggerated, right? Your chest is
right.
out a bit, but you walk, but the way you carry yourself, the way you make eye contact with people, the way you walk into a room and you're confident, whatever you're doing in life, you're confident with your abilities, you're confident in your ability to handle yourself. How I would say is just from things like, so this starts with the body language portion of it, whether you're standing or sitting, taking up a lot of room, and confident in who you are, what you're being in your personal space, taking up a lot of room when you enter a room. So how you stand, how you project yourself, your mannerisms. And George, you actually made a good point. It's like how you walk, how you talk, but I think slow and controlled in life, just in general. People who walk very fast and do things very fast, they come off as fidgety. They come off as nervous. When you have slow, controlled energy, no matter
Yeah,
what you're doing in life,
yeah.
you do things with intent every single day, people can sense that, and
That's
you
right.
come off as more confident.
Confidence,
Um,
right intent, right time.
I just want to break down three things that I think are key to developing a strong and confident frame, at least from my side of it. And the last one's actually going to kind of make you laugh. So the first one is strong, confident energy, right? To develop a strong frame. Number two, a good sense of emotional intelligence. I've used that word in a previous episode of this podcast. And the third one here, the ability to pass shit tests. So you can get shit tested in tons of different areas of your life. You can get shit tested from friends. You can get shit tested in your career. You can get shit tested in dating, relationships.
Dating.
There are tons of areas where you can get shit tested. I'll talk
Or a new
about
job as well by new guys, but old employees. By shoot test you.
people negotiate. They will shit test
Team.
you. They'll try to see how strong you are at holding your.
Negotiate exactly. Yo, good point, bro. Good point. Definitely thinking smart with like the laws of power and all that. Real quick, can you backtrack real quick? Can you go back? What's it called? Can you send step number 2? You're just saying. I kind of like I heard it, but for some reason my shit was muted for a quick second. I don't know what happened. But
100%, man. I can repeat that.
yeah,
So I said for the second one, I said having a good sense of emotional intelligence.
good sense of emotion. Okay, yeah.
So I'll break down emotional intelligence. It's definitely essential, in my opinion, for having a strong, confident frame. And most people, they never harness that energy that lies within them. It doesn't. So emotional intelligence, it doesn't mean you never get angry. Anger is an essential quality. Like, you have to have that emotion. Anger is definitely necessary in certain circumstances. But knowing when to harness certain emotions,
Right.
knowing when to actually project certain emotions is very, very important. Because if you get angry and frustrated in a scenario where you shouldn't
Sometimes you can slow you down.
guess what? You're gonna get looked at as weak, and you're gonna get looked at as someone who has a short fuse and they're very, very weak and they can't control their emotions. You need to know when to project certain emotions. That's emotional intelligence. And when you have a strong, confident frame, you are able to understand emotional intelligence, and you're able to harness your emotions when needed. So that's important. And everybody goes through this is kind of trial and error, just kind of as you learn, as you learn who you are as a person, and you learn what your triggers are. That's important to control your emotions. If you can control your emotions, you can get what you desire in this life. And sometimes that means holding back your anger and keeping it cool. Other times it means overemphasizing your anger or dissatisfaction in order to show that you are firm and that you mean business. If people are constantly taking advantage of you, maybe cool, calm, and collected is not going to work. Maybe you need to be a little bit firm with those people and be like, this will not be tolerated in order to make that point, especially if they've been doing something to you for a long, long time, whether it's in your career, whether it's with friends that are trying to, they look at you as a pushover. Sometimes you got to be firm, but understanding when to harness those emotions that's emotional intelligence.
Yes, sir.
Give you a quick way, real quick, and then I'll let you kind of maybe talk about this. So ways that you can build your emotional intelligence. Figure out what your triggers are. It's what I said. You got to figure out what is going to trigger those emotions. You know who you are as a person. Also, learn when to suppress emotions and when to exaggerate them, when you need to carry out those emotions. And the other one is, I would say, actually practice. Practice actually switching emotions. You can go from happy to angry to jealous. I mean, jealous is obviously not usually looked at as a good quality. And you can actually switch to seductive as well. I'm going to be honest, like when you're talking to a friend or you're in business, right, you're going to be talking different than if you're out dating, right, or you're with your partner. You're gonna act different. You're gonna show different emotions, and you're gonna act a different way. You're gonna talk a certain way. This is how it is. So I'll let you kind of talk about emotional intelligence, kind of what it means to you. But I think that emotional intelligence is one of the three most crucial things when it comes to developing a strong frame.
Yeah, I agree right now. Basically, kind of like what you're saying, it's almost like not switching personalities, but switching it almost like taking it from 0 to 100. If you could be like angry or mad, but that's more than so acting and being good at hiding or changing the emotions a little. But yeah, emotional, so like sense of emotional intelligence and all that, bro. It's like having the sense of emotions, how to like control them and be intelligent, like you said, when to use them and when not to. Sometimes you gotta let go. You gotta put your ego a little aside. Somebody says something trying to kind of clown, you look at them like, all right, whatever, and then you say something light. You don't necessarily go, oh well, fuck you, or be like, oh yeah, or something super slick, because you're in a position where you probably couldn't really say that, but they might show people laugh, be like, all right. Somebody starts haha laughing, like, fuck you, motherfuckers. But sometimes you don't want to say like that. You might as well say like, "Yeah, look at these clowns laughing at me because they want to hate or something." And then again, people shit test you. They'll try to pick at you a little bit. It's called hang on, I'm gonna say this. It's actually an Italian word. Stuzzicare. I mean, like, it hits you with a small toothpick here on your stomach. Like, like they poke you a little, poke fun at you, see some shit, laugh at you. So what you got to do is you got to know how to either kill them with kindness, kill them with striking difference, and be like I said, in your mind you're like, "Yo, fuck this dude," whatever, but I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. Or you're just kind of like, you're just like leaving, like you kind of like play it off a certain way. And then some places you can't always have like a rebuttal or just always get like really like angry, but sometimes you got to show that you're firm and also like not to want to test it. Also, you got to join the band right away. It's all right to let them know like I'm not the one you should mess with the first day, and then sometimes you actually go too because you don't know put out a better sort of like a a way that people perceive a better like sort of like example, or what I mean, like you don't want to be like the bad presence in the place, or like the bad kind of like like image, what I'm saying. But it's really
100%.
important to know how to like manage your emotions, how to let things get to you, the trigger points. I mean, like you said, you just gotta like try to keep them at a certain a certain base. Like you don't need to like get triggered things that, especially the word of a moron. But you can say something. People get triggered on IG or Facebook all the time, but it's easy to say some shit. If I actually ever engage someone in comments, it's only because I just want to speak the truth and I put it out there. People take it more personal. They don't want to like attack you. I'm like, yo, I lost the interest. To be honest, I read very few comments. I read comments less and less everywhere social media. YouTube, IG, everywhere, Facebook, all these groups, all these, I mean, if it ain't about us and about the podcast and all that, I might look at some videos and mostly on YouTube and still look at some comments of my interest. But because I see that a lot of people just talk crap on each other for no reason, really. It's like even Joe Rogan's talking about he doesn't really read comments at all on just period online at all. I mean, maybe here and there, but he said he used to, but he stopped. It's actually a smart way of like not getting engaged because you see what people. I mean, it doesn't have to be you who you're watching it, your perception, but you just having a look, and if people are going through it with each other, you're like, wow, look how they're going at.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not picking sides, but you see sometimes who comes across as very angry or arrogant or shit talker, and then it makes you wonder, look how fucked up the world really is. A lot of people think, and that's why you see a lot of niggas be like, yeah, I ain't with that kind of shit, man. I ain't with that type of time. Again, in real life, a guy never said to me, but if I do work somewhere like that, or I gotta be somewhere, or we're just saying something going on that I really can't go like that, I ain't gonna snap. I want to use smarter judgment. I gotta get this money and get out of there. It's all stop, bro. Or even the job you have now, it's a stepping stone to a better opportunity. It's not really where we're gonna end up at necessarily,
Yeah, and what I would say is when you don't engage people, you keep your emotional intelligence. When you don't engage people that are hating comes from insecurity. It comes from insecurity. So if somebody's hating on you, unless they have a valid like critique of something you're doing, if they're just hating to hate, that it's coming from insecurity. So when you don't engage with those types of people, you hold all the cards, you hold the power, because you don't give them the reaction that they're looking for, especially if their critiques are not something that it's not something that you're doing. It's just they're hating because you have a certain level of something that they don't have. If it's just if they get personal and personally attack you, like they attack the way you look or the way you sound or something like that, that's coming from a very insecure mindset. It's coming from an insecure frame of mind. And so those types of people you just don't engage. I do want to say go on to the shit testing side of this. So I would say your ability to pass shit tests, ultimately, it's a lot easier when you develop a strong emotional intelligence. What I want to say by shit testing is when another person is testing your value. Your value as an individual. That's what shit testing is. It's when someone's testing your value, ultimately. And you get shit tests all the time. You get
Your
shit tests.
value, your intelligence. Real quick, 1 second. Your, kind of the way you think. Your again, like you said, bro, your beliefs. And again, everybody got different beliefs and all that. But if it's something like again, your value, your idea, your intelligence, the way people people will level you, bro. They'll classify you. So sometimes they classify you a certain way, and they'll shit test you because they can, not because they want to. Again, shit test you to see like where you at. And sometimes they'll do it again. It's more like a test to see what you're made of a little. But when you let them know who you are, they'll you got to be steady to your ground too. But this is where emotional intelligence and the sense of emotional intelligence and controlling your emotions can come in. And being intelligent and knowing when to trigger and not to get triggered, or when to kind of switch the script, flip the script, shit like that. Like you said, bro, I've seen people that walk fast all the time, bro. They walk very fast, and then sometimes those people are the ones that are like a little all over the place, and need to slow it down. There's even a book and a philosophy about slow down in life, just the way you think, not like do things slow, like slow, but just the mannerism, the way you think. Don't be quick to judge everything, get on the sides, come to a conclusion, about your mind. Don't be opinionated, but try, keep it, as just as you can, and you know what I mean? Stay as thorough on your purpose as you can. And if you have to make a call, you gotta make a call, whatever, or give an opinion, all that. Which is what we talked about, for example, the Cain Velasquez thing. Remember how me, you, and Dan were talking about it? We try to keep it like sort of like nice and clean, of course, nice and nice, and obviously not talk too much stuff that gets us in trouble. But we talked about how we believe, and at the same time we have to get the facts, and neither party is necessarily right, but we still said free Kane. I mean, it's our field, but at the same time, there's better ways to handle everything. So we spoke objectively, we cleared the air on a lot of things, and we talked about how something that a lot of people at the time felt, and it's still being going on. I mean, Oh, by the way, did you hear about Kobe Covington? He got punched in the tooth. He got his tooth broken by Jorge Masvidal. He got assaulted.
Yeah, I did hear a little bit about that. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, but
it is.
That's some goon behavior right there, man. He did say do another few rounds in the parking lot. I'm like, I don't respect Kobe for snitching, but I don't think what George Masvidal did was also kind of like the most, Granted, he probably went up to him and be like, "Yo, what's up now, motherfucker?" They're saying he went like this though, like hoodie, like mask up or some shit, like, and he was like, "Yo, what's up?" And he said, "Bomb, bomb." He said, "You're talking about my kids. Don't ever mention my kids again." So if he did that, that's some goony shit. That's like sneaking up on somebody. But in the streets, it's all fair. They say, it's streets got to eat, bro. But I'm like, damn, because I mean, he beat him in an MMA fight. He beat him in a fight, like in an actual fight, no, but in an actual like street situation, a real life thing, real fight, seemed like George won because they say he snuck him. Who knows if he sucker punched him or not? I mean, that's what they're saying. So, again, I'm not quick to judge either party, but Kobe got his jaw broken, got his tooth missing. That's crazy. He's missing the tooth now.
That is crazy.
Oh, that shouldn't be talking, right? See, sometimes the energy you put out there comes back to you. People will test you because I always said your mouth and your words have consequences, and that's an example right there. I mean, but I do, hope and wish that the little violence sort of like de-escalates and they can resolve this shit out and kind of like figure it out eventually, I guess, Maybe another fight, maybe bare knuckle MMA fight, maybe some kind of like street fight with some little rules in there, like some kind of sound like to get out the way. I mean, yeah, I don't know. What happens. No, definitely good point, bro. Like you said, very good points as far as like controlling the emotions, bro, and everywhere in life, even with like a toxic girl.
I would say like you'll get shit tests everywhere, right? You'll get shit tests in career, like, so people a lot of times like they think shit tests just come from, so it happens in dating a lot, right? To guys, women will shit test men, a lot of times to kind of see if the guy is actually as confident as he says he is, or tries to act like he is.
See where his head is at. Girls do it all the time. They're just smart with things,
But
just to see like if you're worthy.
but the weird one is people don't realize it happens for men and women in the workplace as
Well,
well. So
women get shit tested all the time because people try to use them.
Yeah, a guy will try to put you in a role below them mentally. They'll try to look at you with low value. They'll put customers and clients, like they'll try to lower their price, or it's all sorts. They'll try to honestly see what you're made of. It happens in negotiations and business all the time.
See it too. They try to fill you out and see exactly if you're a pushover, if you're more strong-minded, if you're not one easily to crack her. She's one, one hard one to crack.
100%.
Like I mean, I guess me and you probably got shit tested before your jobs. I know I have, definitely, just to see. Now, almost like a test to see if what I'm made of, to see if, like, okay, this guy is legit. He's pretty,
I've gotten shit
legit, but like he's good, like he's sharp. Maybe like it's like get promotions and raises and all these other things. You know what I mean? Like all these other stuff that.
Yeah, it's not a maybe. Yeah, like, dude, we've definitely, like, I've gotten shit tested tons of times, man. Not just in the career, but also in dating. Like, you get shit tested all the time, man. I mean, that's, I look at it as a good thing, man. It's just like, it's an opportunity for you to shine. And honestly, just if you're confident in your abilities and who you are, it shouldn't come off as much of a challenge. You start to learn that as you get older, as long as you're not dependent on, you're not dependent on a job, or you're not dependent.
Opportunities to actually do.
Don't let people break you down. Whole frame on who you are.
Try to show how good you are and shine. So real quick, bro, you got a whole masculine framework you talked about. You got to stay kind of like who you are and go for yours and still, improve it, and show that you have, you have authority over things too. You know what I mean? And you're kind of like you want to make things happen, and like basically your voice is important too, and your ideas, you matter out there to the world and to whoever you are in that particular environment, and you go forward. And if people respect you more, they value a lot more, and they see you. Sometimes people respect some people, or you know what I mean, or vice versa, or they value them a little bit. But the respect is not all the way there. Like, they expect you to limit. Then again, people sometimes they find out when you shine, you show them what you got, good appearances, clean cut, for example, go to work nice, sometimes in a suit, whatever. You go early, you promote, you go to another place, and people see you after that. Wow, who knew that this guy would go somewhere else? Companies want you back sometimes, bro. Let me tell you, son, you be that way.
Yeah, for real. 100%, man. It's all about people want to see how desperate you are, man. They want to test your value to see how desperate you ultimately are.
Yeah, for sure, right? That's your value. And people always ask you what you do to kind of try to classify you and try to figure out a little bit, like, oh, who you are, what you do, how old are you, you have kids, you have this. You notice how girls, sometimes even the guys will ask you that. People in jobs, sometimes it might be an interview, they ask you what you do, how long you've been there, this and that. Oh man, there's all kind of questions. Because what's an interview? An evaluation, not a psychic evaluation, to see where your work mind, your sort of like work business dynamics and IQ for work would be. And they're like, okay, I mean, you've done it before. You've done HR at your job. So, I've done something similar, what I have to do like mini interviews and all that, but for other purposes, but similar stuff. So yeah, recruiting and all that.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you
crazy, right, bro? It's so interesting to be honest, though.
Yeah, it comes from confidence, man. I would say ultimately all comes from confidence. If your ability to pass a shit test, it comes from how you value yourself and how you see yourself. I mean, with jobs, people want to see how valuable really are you? Because I mean, honestly, they'll be like, okay, well, why should I hire you if you don't value yourself? When a woman says it to a man, right, she's going to contemplate why she should even sleep with him. It's like, why should I sleep with this guy? Like, if he doesn't value himself, like they'll test you. Like, people will test you, like in friendships too. They'll see how much they can get away with, right? If you're in if you have friends that are toxic, they will see how much they can get away with like to get you to do favors for them or do different things for them. You know what I mean? And it all comes from the ability. One of the biggest things you can do, like if you take anything away from the masculine frame side of it, is say no. Have the ability to say no. You don't have to please anybody. If people can't accept when you can't do something, or you can say no, then guess what? Hit, like, you know what I mean? Hit the bricks. Like, for real. Like, if people cannot be content with you saying no to them, well, then guess what? Then they're probably toxic. You got to always value yourself. It happens in careers too, right? Your boss says, "Oh, can you work late?" And you just say yes because you want to people please or whatever. You're afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say no. Hold your frame.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, bro, shit testing is gonna come I think it's one of the most important aspects of like the challenges and some of the hardships that might come in life. And then we're talking about in general, but we're gonna be a little generic here with this. So your ability to conquer things, even if you fall, come back up. If you fail, don't give up on things. It tells a lot about your character, about your values, and people value more when they know about you, but they don't know you, so they might just see what they see and they'll be like, "Oh, this guy," or whatever. They might not really fully understand or fully appreciate you. Then they and let them underestimate you because when you every time you raise up more. So I don't mind the doubters and the if they put me down in a position, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna win and I'm gonna shine. So that's the attitude and mentality you should have sometimes for things that matter. So yeah, I mean, again, maintaining masculine, my frame, don't let things get to you. But control your emotions a certain way and be smart and intelligent in the sense of your emotions. Having a sense for your job, showing good work ethic and professionalism as much as you can. Be fair, speak your mind, but sometimes know when to speak your mind too. Because I mean, at the end of the day, bro, like they can cancel you online, they can cancel you out there too, and your jobs and everything. I mean, a lot can happen. So you gotta be very careful just with everything. I mean, in general. Remember, how they do it today? They cancel culture. They might even reach out to your job and try to get you fired, and they get mad at you on Facebook over some shit. And I've seen people, say messed up things, and they had it kind of coming. And then I also see people, like get caught up in BS. So yeah, definitely, you got to also, it's like I said, be yourself. Also, kind of, be smart enough to know when to sort of like you know, say what you really want to say, what you feel, and sometimes what you stand, so hold back a little more, and never mind. It's not even gonna be. Can't change things right away overnight, change the world, overnight. But that's how things happen. Just like you cannot get a career overnight. It takes time to learn new things. But stay positive is another one, and stay open-minded. Open-mindedness, we touched a little bit in other episodes, than maybe a little earlier, but not really as much as some other elements. It's another one. We stay open-minded. You think that like you don't know it all, but you kind of have that willing to learn. The willingness to learn is important, bro. Like that. That is part of, like, in my opinion, that is part of being wanting to be inspired, motivation and inspiration or aspirations. Like David Goggins is not just like a motivational type of guy to some people. Despite what we talked about motivational earlier, he's also a very inspirational guy. There's also a distinction, but very similar. He's a very disciplined guy that people look up to, be like, yo, I should be like him. They follow that lead, follow that print. Now, not necessarily everyone to be like a David Goggins or Joe Rogan or something like that, or what I mean, uh, somebody like a big bodybuilder, but a lot of people that do what they do, and
100%.
you follow from
What
that.
what I would say, also, like, one of the biggest things that will allow you to stay confident in the whole frame is if you're taking action, you're living a purposeful life, you have a purpose on this earth. If you are living your purpose and taking the action necessary to achieve your purpose in this life, you're going to be confident. Because guess what? That's going to be your number one priority in this life. And no matter how external people treat you or people try to shit test you and things like that, put you through the ringer, you're going to hold frame because you know that you bring a lot of value to the table, especially if you're taking that action. I'm telling you right now, if you have a purposeful life, if you don't have a lot going on inside your life, guess what? The odds of you being less confident are going to be right there.
It's something like loads of power type shit, bro. It's deep. It gets a lot deeper than that, man. We're definitely going. We're not off topic, off track, or anything like that. We're just going off like what we know and some of the research or some of the stuff that we learn over time. I mean, we're not like necessarily. I mean, we're knowledgeable in these things. I want to say we're experts on necessarily. There's different types of expertise in these things, but we're not experts. I mean, or in these big time fields, but we have good enough knowledge to speak about it. And this is real shit. I mean, this is facts. I'm not saying that there's not more to it as well, but this is what it is, bro. You just gotta you gotta, like I said, don't be weak on the phone. Don't let others kind of be, don't be like a pushover and be like, what I mean. Respond to others, but if somebody don't, like, you don't, know each other, call you sometimes, and maybe people wanna come back. Sometimes you gotta maintain frame and then like your original idea. Don't backtrack, because sometimes sometimes people try to reach back out to you and all that after shit definitely hit the fan and you got kind of weird. Sometimes you gotta just be focused on you. Can't let that shit like the talking to us stuff. Oh yeah, you get suckered in and go back to the lifestyle. I know how that is. I'm just you gotta stay away.
Exactly.
Sometimes you gotta be very distant, bro. It's all it is. I mean, and also you gotta be learning things. Try to be in the right place, right time.
100%, man. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, bro, having a positive mindset and day can lead you to having like a good day and learning things, and it kind of comes a little bit with maturing too. You become more of a high value person, high value human being, high value male. You value women a certain way. You have friends from both women and men, younger and older, your age and possibly younger or old, what I mean, older, whatever. Like you trying to really be valuable, be the right people. And if you carry yourself a certain way, then you're fine. I mean, you don't feel like, yeah, somebody's gonna try to hurt you or whatever, but or fuck you over at your job or shit's gonna happen. But you again, another thing is about being an alpha male, quote unquote, or high value, or just maintaining that frame of masculinity, alpha frame of masculinity just in your mind. Again, we're not talking about toxic masculinity. Don't ever get confused. We're talking about just being a real man that understands situations. You can still have a little emotion, be a little emotional when need be, but you're keeping them, you're mainly about things too. You already should be. You're right there, right balance. Part of that, bro, is also not letting things affect you too, and kind of moving on from things too. And when shit happens, just just trying to like brush it off or address it and go. Real men address stuff too. All these internet fake talk going on, this bullshit, blah blah blah. Everybody seems like well, real life address things, and that's all it takes. Conversation.
100%.
I
agree, man.
Yeah.
Give and take, 80-20.
Yeah.
I would say, man. I think we covered a lot of the stuff tonight. So
I feel like another 5 minutes on the mic here.
Yeah, we can close out some things and
some closing statements and all that.
We got some guests coming up in the next week, in the next 2 weeks, the next 3 weeks. We have some guests coming on, so we can kind of talk about some things, just progress with the podcast and stuff. But I think we covered a lot tonight on the topic in general.
I think we did, bro. And we actually have a couple of friends coming, people too. So our boy Bob Carson might be coming back, but we might be some people through him. There's a few things need to be made, but you also have to realize some of these guys that are on his podcast, it's like this professional world, or some of them get paid to go there, or they pay a studio to film their show. You know what I mean? They pay them for support, basically. For to use, like the studio, the equipment. Remember, we talked about how the equipment's a little, it's like a different type of world when you're doing that, over there. So we're talking about behind the scenes, and we'll be definitely, covering that as well, and bringing some new guests in here. Some of the guys, they'll be there.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
They'll be like, what do you call it? It'll be like, so some guests coming out. I don't want to say too much, but yeah, some guests are coming in. We have a couple lined up. I made some adjustments and put some strings in the right way, and I call some people, whatever, because like I said, I'm getting more and more sort of feedback. I mean, we both are, and also people are asking, we're gonna come to the show. Well, we'll make it happy for you guys. We'll bring you in whenever you're ready. At the same time, I mean, it's like if they can talk about stuff like okay, even necessarily, we can also have a topic picked and see if a person wants to talk about that. And sometimes people have topics they want to talk about and come on, and we sort of accustom our, guests, our viewers, our friends to come on the show. And again, if you're a guest on the show that wants to come on, I mean, reach out to us. It's not that this is not a jargon experience, not yet at least. It's not on that type of level or whatever. We just do things our own way, and we have some people to come and talk about some real good topics, and people enjoy watching us. So whoever comes out, may the best person come up, and we'll give you guys
exactly.
You can also, if you're part of the team, I mean, not the team, but if you're part of the group and you're watching, you can post on the show, obviously here on the show, on a separate chat, you can post on the page, on the groups, you can post different stuff, information, news, as long as it's not, I mean, it's got to be current, obviously, but it could be something that's older, it's like we talked about, but just, how we got guys, just always respect the policy, try to keep it cordial, try to avoid certain topics if possible, and, just not going to be too triggering, and there's a lot to post about, talk about, quotes, memes and pictures and articles and news and sharing different stuff and stuff on Facebook and articles. You're always welcome. Just try to keep it to a certain audience, but not just on a certain audience, just on a certain level of nothing sort of it's really negative, because I mean we don't engage in a lot of that, but obviously we live in a negative world, so a lot of shit's crazy too.
Yeah, you can speak your mind. Just obviously Facebook has guidelines.
Yeah.
Well, we can
and
talk.
Again, if you want to post about politics, about the wars going on in Ukraine, and all that, I mean, feel free. I would just say be careful in the caption. And again, there is politics, and sometimes the content might not be available anymore. So you're automatically removing it from our page. Nothing to do with us. We did not remove it. Facebook did. Again, I repeat that for you slow guys out there. Me and Steve did not remove it. Something was removed. Usually it's Facebook. Or what they do is they don't remove it. They block the content because it feels just not that it's like negative in the sense that the person that shared is negative. It's just it's something kind of messed up, the word, something will touch, like a touchy subject, or a person getting shot or copying something with something, somebody tangling around, or possibly the guy got shot. Did you see? Speaking of which, a guy in Albany, near Fifth and Albany, down there, one of the spots that I know down there, right? He got shot robbing somebody. An OG shot him. Apparently, it was caught on camera, and it was on the news. It's still on the news, and it was hidden where it gives you that little eye on IG. We can't really see it because it's a little sensitive. You got to click it and view it anyway.
Yeah, it's sensitive content.
Sensitive, content, content like that. So And apparently, somebody that I know was telling me they knew who he was. Like, I mean, they weren't friends with him, but they knew the guy that got killed. It's like, wow, that's crazy. Like, they was telling me about it. I was like, I seen on the news. Then I mean, I knew about it like the day or two before I even met this guy that told me that like, yo, I knew about like I knew the guy that that did it. Somebody that like I don't know actually apparently like knew him from like way back from like the neighborhood or something like that. And apparently, yeah, I mean something like that. Had a record apparently already. And wrong person, wrong point, and he got popped. He went to the wrong guy. So like news like that, for example, or something more violent than that, sometimes they might remove it or they might just like not be in the news anymore. Again, we don't necessarily censor you guys what they write about, but don't just start nothing, bad because we don't want to have nothing, really too controversial. We're trying to keep the algorithm a certain way and Facebook a certain way. It's the thing on IG. IG's probably like more like they'll show you more content. No one really cares too much. It's on Facebook where things get a little. But even IG, if you're focusing on negative things and negative things, content and comments and all that, sometimes it will, I mean, I guess they can't put you in jail or suspend you, or whatever. But usually they'll just like they might suspend you for like a day or two, or something like that, or you might be like they might take something down. You know what I mean? Like I think did Kanye West gets like banned for like a day, 24 hours from from IG, from Instagram, which is unheard of because usually no one really gets banned. I mean, it takes them a while. Facebook's a lot more sensitive, strict, and they're way more closer to the whole cancel culture thing. That I'm more like okay, you're just gonna get banned for you can get reported for everything. IG they might just take something down, but you get like warnings, like a lot of them. They really don't really like ban you.
Yeah, it's a little bit different the way they operate.
Yeah, even though it's owned by Facebook, but they're still a little different. You know what I mean? It's just interesting things, something to think about. But yeah,
100%.
bro. So that was one. But yeah, anyway, guys, we'll definitely gotta check out some of my G's and Facebooks and the website and all that. And we got the one IG page. I mean, if you count the one I have, because I have another one that I use called Ultimate News 99, as opposed to just the GMAC 88 in my MMA page. So I sometimes tag on that one and I'll use some content, and sometimes I work in conjunction, with obviously the Locked In podcast, which Steve and I promote a lot. And you can check us out there. The website, Spotify. This episode will be up on Spotify about 24 hours. So tomorrow around this time, you should be there. Usually, it's around this time. Yeah, Steve. Real quick before we start wrapping it up, the last thing I kind of want to mention. So one, me, you, and this gentleman that I know that I'm cool with, right? I was thinking about. We're gonna probably meet up on these dates for like possibly like like a little meeting or for some good business or for like a brunch, So if you're up there, let me know. We'll talk behind the scenes about it. Okay? It's good stuff, good opportunities. And a guy that I could probably bring on the podcast at some point, definitely an inspirational guy, a guy that I'm cool with, that I met through my job. And then, again, a lot of important people out there, bro. Guys hang out with millionaires, and all the above. Important people that can get your job, principals of schools. I'm in a little in the school business somewhat, I'm in a sub teaching gigs, to an extent, so it's like, I mean, for me, it's perfect, but not just for me, anybody, because I mean, it's a principal of school. You might know a commissioner even, through important people. So I mean, it's good, you know the story. I met Michael Nader like two or three times at a banquet I used to go to when I used to do some martial arts thing for like this school / community school, church / school. It was like a church back in like the German area. I think I mentioned it, but yeah, I met Michael Nader like about twice. I met him, one time I just seen him, but he's a tall guy, pretty tall. But I know a lot of people didn't like him, but he was an interesting guy. So yeah,
That's funny, man.
yeah, man. You know me, I'm not too much on politics like that, but it was just kind of ironic because people always ask me, the celebrities you met, well, they count too. I mean, they are celebrities technically. He's a mayor. He's a celebrity.
You said Nutter, right?
Yeah, Michael Nutter. Yep.
Yeah.
Not the current one. I never actually Mayor Cannon. I never actually got to see him. Yeah.
You want to know something? You remember Mayor John Street?
Yeah.
He taught at Temple.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Had him. He came into one of my classes once.
I think I'm not sure if I'd heard it done at Grapevines. I'm sure I think I might have heard something about that, but yeah, that's neat. That's interesting. Yo, some other interesting things, bro. A friend of mine told me that some martial arts instructor that I knew was his music teacher in high school, like back in the day, and he's retired. I met this guy like years ago, and him and his son were training doing like martial arts sports. I was training with them a little, and I was just like hanging out there, and I met him down there by like Full Crowd and like what is it called, like Frankfurt, I guess. Yeah, Frankfurt, down there. But it was like a church though, but it was like really upstairs, and they did like Christian type of stuff and like martial arts stuff. But they're like, it's not like a big religious thing, but he gave me the martial arts Bible though. So it talks about basically being like a better person, but it pertains to martial arts. So I still have it though. So it was pretty dope stuff. And this gentleman, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Poltrow.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah, he was a music teacher, history teacher too, but he's a music teacher. Mr. Poltrow is also a martial artist. And I met him and his son and some people that he was affiliated with. He was an extra, and he actually was in the movie Grease. Remember the movie Grease with John Travolta?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he was like an extra in there one. I was like, wow. Isn't that dope, bro, how small the world kind of is in a way?
Yeah, it is, man. It's
Like just small interesting fact trivia, but you never really knew. I was like, wow. I mean, like I said, I don't really know this guy, but I don't know all of them. I met him before, and he was in a movie before. He wasn't actually in Greece. I was like, wow, the movie
that's
Greece with
awesome.
yeah, with John Travolta, which is it's like a classic. It's a whole pop culture, crazy movies from
Oh
like the
yeah.
70s, like 78, I believe it came out. One was like late 70s, early 80s type of movies. Really cool. Real funny and all that. But yeah, like I said, man, there's a lot going on out there and shit like that. So you just never know who you might pop into, But I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just important thing. So we definitely gotta get this meeting going on, bro. And we'll get the monthly meeting as well. We'll discuss that as well, a little behind the scenes, and that should be all good as well. Good to go. So this weekend I got the seminar, the big seminar. So man, wish me luck, bro. So it should be very tough. It's gonna be a lot of physical abilities, bro. A lot of push-ups you got to do, a couple hundreds and shit like that. Sit-ups, all that.
Kill it, bro.
Pull-ups,
So,
burpees. Oh yeah, I gotta do my best. I gotta try, bro. Gotta
yo, we
try.
gotta hit a work. We gotta hit a workout, man. It's long overdue. Long
Yeah.
overdue. Like a gym workout. We've hit some outdoor workouts recently, but we gotta hit
Yeah,
the
bro. Outdoor was good recently. We gotta definitely do that a little. I'm technically, like I said, I gotta fuck coming up at some point. I mean, I know exactly where. I think it's gonna be like later on, like between like April, right before May, probably. So, for me, it's cool.
Let's go,
But the
man. We gonna
seminar's
hit
first, so yeah, bro. I'll let you know more about it. It's gonna be on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's like a 4-day thing, but only 3 days, I believe, from what I was told. But initially, I thought Friday's gonna be a busy day, but tomorrow, which is Friday, I don't gotta go to the seminar or nothing. I got work though, and then I'm off the weekend because of that. And it's gonna be Philly, Jersey. It's gonna be Jody Simmons or Jody, but he goes by Joe Malenko. That was his wrestler name, aka Jody. Gentleman from Florida. He's an American pro wrestling legend. He wrestled in the UWFI, UWF Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Some like other smaller promotions. Over the years. Here in America, like I think like I'm not can't quote me this one, but Frontier Wrestling one. They used to have Frontier Martial Arts, I think. And he has a connection to like pro wrestling events and shows and all these like organization styles and all that, especially the promotions like in England, USA, Canada, and Japan. But mostly in Japan, he was with his brother. And then we're gonna have UFC former middleweight contender and the King of Pancrase and UFC fighter / MMA fighter. What's his name? Nathan, aka Nate Marquardt. Nathan Marquardt. They call him Nate the Great, but Nate Marquardt. So Nate Marquardt.
Nate Walker. Now I'm playing.
Nate Walker. Yeah, what's up? What is Nate Walker?
I don't
Where
know.
the fuck is Nate Walker? Can you make some sense of all this? Remember that? Remember that skit that
Yeah.
Chappelle did? Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Maybe
But not this guy Nate. He's a UFC fighter. He fought like Anderson Silva. He fought Vitor Belfort. He fought like Damian Maia. He's got some big knockouts, some big wins. Rosemar Polaris. UFC veteran. I mean, a really popular. Any UFC fan, MMA fan that loves the sport and loves MMA, and knows about mixed martial arts has heard of him. He fought in Pancrase, which again, similar organization, and funny style to that, to UFC and all. So he's been around and dude, he's gonna put us to some workouts, dude. I don't know, man. I mean, he's a big motherfucker. I mean, cool dude. I never actually met him. It'd be my first time meeting him, but I know who he is. Though. I mean, we interacted before and all that. I mean, plus, now with the whole Pancrase thing, now, I'm connected with these guys. So they know I am now. I'm kind of like up there with the big names and legends now, bro.
Up there with the OGs.
With the OGs, to be a legend, to be with OGs, you gotta hang out with the legends, bro. And that's exactly what I gotta do. And I mean, that's what I've been doing. So I mean, that's exactly what's happening. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have fun with it. I mean, honestly, I don't care, dude. I could be out there puking. I'll give you my best, dude. I don't care if I faint, dude. I'll call you the next day. Dude, I'm ready to fucking go out there, and do the thing I gotta do, dude.
True, man.
Ready to die, like PIG said. Ready to die, like PIG said. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, man. We've been on here for a little bit, man. So I think we can almost wrap.
Good to go. Yeah. That's time to go. Did you see anything else, bro? I mean, I'm pretty much good at everything, bro. Just
I think I'm good. 2 weeks from now, we
got
yeah, 2 weeks from now, I actually just talked to someone behind the scenes. He was watching it tonight. We got a good episode kind of lined up. That will be for 77. We got something good next week as well. But just know that one of our commenters in here tonight, he'll be coming on for 77 in 2 weeks. Excited about that. We'll release the details. We'll release the information. That's 2 weeks away. We'll release that. We'll obviously talk more about 76 first. But excited to have this guest come on. Obviously, this is going to be a good one. And we actually got some things kind of planned up to 80 as well. I know
we do, bro. We do. And I'm so excited about this, bro. Life is always better when you plan shit out, bro. I'm telling you, things like when you plan it out like this, and we got some stuff sort of like in perspective. It's like you gotta be in a certain place, certain time to get shit done, bro. And sometimes, like you said, you gotta have the discipline. Motivation may not be there, but the discipline pushes you, and you know what I mean. like we did it too. We have some episodes lined up. We have some guests, and it's not like you're here and there. Some of them are confirmed. Some are still kind of in the works. But yeah, definitely
Yes, sir.
it's gonna be a good or a great end of the month. I mean, we are kind of nearing the end of March. Today's March 24th, Thursday, March 24th. So
Yeah, man. Let's get it.
the seminars are 27th, 28th, 29th. So those are 3 days. And guys, if anybody got questions there, any of my watchers that are followers that know me to follow my, MMA career journey, we're doing this martial arts thing, the whole gym situation and the Pancrase Philly, hybrid wrestling or Pancrase hybrid wrestling Philly. Just know that there is no walk-ins, but there is an event called Gods of Wrestling going on at the 2300 Arena. You can go there and check out some big things going on, expos and of course giveaways and.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, man.
He's gonna promote the event and people are gonna come to our event. Unfortunately, there was a giveaway. One lucky guy got a free spot.
Guys, just as George is promoting himself there with Pancrase, also understand that I know I've talked about this before, but I actually do. I'm actually working right now part time for a credit consultation business where I'm like a financial literacy consultant and I'm helping people repair and build their credit. We got lots of great products, guys. I'll actually post in the group again this week so you guys can find out how to contact me and see my link tree. If you know anybody who is struggling and needs to either repair or build their credit, feel free to reach out to me. The organization I work with is called UWE, United Wealth Education. Honestly, they have a lot of great services. I use the services myself as an agent. So, yeah, guys, I have a calendar out there. I'll actually post it. So if you guys know anybody, any consultation that I do with you is completely free of charge. I don't charge anybody for consulting and sitting down with them. If you guys do opt into our services, that's when you pay. But when I actually sit down and talk to you, that's completely free of charge. I do not charge you for a 15 to 30-minute phone call. Like usually a phone call is about 15 minutes. If it's a presentation, it's more something along the lines of 30 minutes. And yeah, we'll talk more about that. We're actually going to have an episode on it eventually where I bring my boy Bryce in. But
yeah, we're gonna have some
keep your eyes open
on that as well. So yeah, I mean, like I said, today was a good episode, man. Glad I get to do it again. I was a little late today, but just a little bit of a shaky start, and it's been a long day. I mean, like I said, I got a lot done. You got a lot done, bro. Good stuff.
I hear you.
Anybody watching, shout out to you guys, and definitely keep up the good work and watch us. We'll try to keep up the good work on our part and do some episodes. But yeah, Steve, I got to connect with some people, man. I'm gonna talk to you behind the scenes. And yeah, we'll make it work. So anyway,
Sounds
though,
good.
we'll talk more, bro. If you hang out for a second, that's cool. If not, let me know. But,
yeah, I'll hang out after we end the broadcast. Real quick.
Yeah, we can hang out for like just like a quick minute because I know you got to do your thing. I got to do my thing. I got a little workout in, so I got some stuff I got to take care of. But I'm actually not that busy, bro. So I mean, we'll probably meet up one of these days anyway. But we'll get some stuff on the way.
Sounds good, man. But
so real quick, like I said, 76. I'll let you know. I'll probably talk to you about it in a second, but I might have somebody lined up for that one as well. And trying to see if my buddy David Potter could come for one of them because that'll be a good one. And he's already said he's already down for any episode. He's just told me like let me know when he said basically. So I mean, if they're okay with it, okay, pick up. Sometimes people, it's a thing, bro. You might think that people are like if you tell them like a little short notice they can't do it. If they're used to do this kind of things that we do, they can do it. You know why? Because they got the smarts. They got that IQ of like what is to do podcasting. Blogging, videos, talking. Media work. They can take like an hour. It just depends on the time. If they got the time start open, you feel me? Like that's the point I'm trying to make. Like it's not like that hard for somebody that knows how to work these things. It's usually people that haven't done it in a while or don't know how to do it. They're like, if you tell them a little like 5 days in advance, which is not like short notice, but it's like a little, they're like, and they get a little like nervous with that. Somebody that knows this stuff, he let you know if you're like, oh yeah, I could do it. Yeah, I got 2 days in advance. Yeah, we could do it. Like, and hey, little bit done deal, and that's it. Look at Bob. It took him he called us to make everything sure, but he did it really quickly. So happens, man.
Oh yeah, man. Well, all right, man. I think we can talk behind the scenes about it, but guys, I just don't want to hold up this too long. We're an hour and 40 minutes in here. Yeah. Kind of a little longer than expected here, but guys, we'll see you next week for episode 76. Guys, have a blessed, great weekend as we kind of close out the final week of March. And we'll see you next week, and you'll see some things posted in the Facebook group as well. But see you guys next week, guys. Have a great weekend. George will talk to you at the end here.
All right, and you guys have a good weekend as well. Stay safe.
Over and out, guys.
76. Over and out. Peace.